another application where binary variables are very useful is a case where we have some decisions for which we have maybe variable cost or variable benefit like profit per unit, but also we have some fixed cost or some fixed amounts to be taken from resources. So here is an example. We have to produce in this problem a mix of 3 products to maximize total profit. We have these products 1, 2, 3. We have 3 resources: machining, grinding, and assembly with available time. So this is standard resource constraints. And then we have unit profit, $48.55, $50 per unit for product 1 to 3. But the new thing is we have a fixed cost, setup cost, 1,800 and 900 if we produce product 1, product 2, product 3. So this is the precise definition. If any units of a product are produced, fixed cost must be paid. But of course, if we don't produce the product, we don't need to pay the fixed cost, right? So let's start writing the model for this problem without, by ignoring first the setup cost, right? So the problem is like a product mix. So we can say we have decision variables xi is units of product I to produce, right? For I equal 1, 2, and 3. And then we can say we maximize, let me leave some space here, we maximize the profits 48x1 plus 55x2 plus 50x3. This would be the total profit, right, from producing those 3 products, and then subject to the 3 resource constraints, 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 6x3 less than or equal 600. This is constraint on machining, right? Machining hours. Then 6x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 less than or equal 300. And then 5x1 plus 6x2 plus 2x3 less than or equal 400, right? This is grinding hours, and this is assembly, right? And of course, all xi greater than or equal to 0, non-negative, right? So this would be a correct model if not for those setup costs. Now, one might say, let's solve this problem, see which products are produced, and then just pay the fixed costs, right, afterwards. If we see, for example, that product 2 and 3 are being produced, then let's just pay $800 and $900, and that's it. But of course, this kind of solution would ignore during the optimization the values of setup costs. What if the setup costs are very high for the products we select, right? For example, suppose we selected product 1 and we now have to pay the highest of the fixed costs. Maybe we could, if we include this cost in the optimization model, then the optimization can see on one hand the benefits from producing each unit, but on the other hand, the costs, right? The reduction of the profit due to those setup costs. So how do we account for this in this model? Well, we cannot simply say subtract 1,000, right? Subtract 800 and subtract 900. If we just do this, of course, we will pay those fixed costs, right, regardless, right? Whether we are producing or not, we're paying them. Suppose, for example, in the solution x2 is equal to 0, why are we paying 800? We are not producing. So if you want, the better way to implement this would be to put here in the objective something like minus 1000 times, right? And then if we could implement in Excel, we can actually implement something like if x1 is positive, then put 1 here, otherwise put 0 here, right? So multiply this 1000 by 1 or 0 depending on x1, okay? But if you put this is not linear, right? So if it's not linear, the problem becomes much harder to solve to optimality if we put something like this. So this is correct, right? Correct logic, but not linear. Therefore, we don't want to use this kind of right modeling. However, we can actually see here something, right? This value of this is 0 or 1, right? So that gives us a hint what to do. We can actually put a binary variable here instead of this if function. So this is what I'm going to do, right? So instead of creating this if function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I will have additional variables. I'll call them yi. The name is anything you like, but yi will be equal to 1 or 0, right? 1 if product I is produced. Okay, if it's produced, then the variable is equal to 1, otherwise it's equal to 0. Okay, so this binary variable 1 or 0, then I can just multiply 1000 times y1 minus 800 times y2 minus 900 times y3, and then I could say all yi binary. Okay, so modeling wise, this looks great. Now we are still in linear programming. Now, of course, this becomes, right, this the black part was LP, but now with the blue part, it became MILP. You see, it's mixed integer linear programming. I have some variables that are continuous like x's, but I also have integer or specifically binary in this case, right? A special type of integer variable, binary, which takes value 0 or 1. So the problem becomes MILP now, right? So it's not LP. And but there is something missing in this problem, and the missing part is what is, notice that these variables y and x are independent of each other. Okay, they are not linked. So for example, I could have a case where, let's say, x1 is equal to 10, but on the other hand, y1 could be equal to 0, which means I'm producing that, but this variable is indicating I'm not producing, right? One should be if we produce product I, right? This is also for I equal 1, 2, 3, right? So this is a contradiction. This is something, right? I should not allow this. I should not allow this. Okay, I should not allow this. So how do I prevent this from happening, right? Well, I can add, right, a constraint. I want you to see the constraint I need is if xi is positive, is greater than 0, then yi should be equal to 1, okay? And remember in project selection, when we say, if you select a project, then you must select another project. I want you to see the structure here is similar. If this variable, it's not about selecting, but it's having non-zero value. If it's positive, then this value must be equal to 1. And the way to write this constraint is similar. We can say x I is less than or equal, or right, let's write it maybe for variable 1. x1 less than or equal, and on the right hand side we'll put y1, but we remember xi, x1 can have a value that is not just 0 or 1. If I leave this constraint like this, right, then y1, because y1 can be at most 1, it's a binary variable, then x1 could be at most 1, but I want to allow x1 to be a very large value, and you know, I may ask myself how large a value it should be, right? So x1, according to these constraints, could be, you know, maybe, right, in this constraint, x1 could be as high as 300. In another constraint, maybe less. If I feel safe, I can put maybe a large number like 1000 here, okay? Putting a number like 1000 will allow me to put any value for x1, yet correctly link to binary value. So I want you to see this is now being prevented. If x1 is 10, right? If you put x1 equal to 10, then y cannot be 0 because this constraint would be 10 less than or equal to 0. It's not satisfied. So if x1 is positive, y has to be equal to 1. And because of this, the linking between x and y decisions will be correct. So, right, if the solver wants to obtain a profit from producing product 1, right, then it wants to increase x1. It wants to increase x1 to get $48 for each of those units. But then this constraint will force y1 to be 1, and that will put here a decrease by 1000 of the fixed cost, right? So profit would be decreased by this fixed cost by 1000, or in this case setup cost, right? So I can write the same x2 less than or equal 1000, y2 and x3 less than or equal 1000, y3, okay? And then this way the model becomes complete, right? If you like, these could be written earlier if you want, because these are just the domains of variables, the limits on variables, which we usually write first, last. And then what else? I put here a number 1000, but in fact I could put smaller numbers. By checking all these constraints, I can see, for example, that x1 from the first constraint is at most 300, so I could change this number to 300, but in the second constraint it is at most, right, 6x1 less than or equal 300 means x1 is at most 50, so I can change this number actually to as low as 50, okay? And the third constraint, it will be something like right, 400 over 5, that's 80. So the smallest number I can choose is 50, because according to the constraints, x1 will never be more than 50. And similarly, if I do the same thing for x2 and x3, I can determine the smallest number is 67. And for this constraint, smallest number is 75. Okay. Now, if there was in the problem, even the problem we would be saying, somebody would say, for example, do not produce more than 100 units for each product. Okay, then we could just use 100 here for all of those, right? Instead of all of those numbers. Okay, but since the limit is not given, right, we can use something that is reasonable, right? So we can look at constraints, and the simple solution was like what I did at the beginning, is putting some very large number that definitely is not going to restrict variables x1, x2, and x3. But since right, we can restrict even further this number 1000 to lower numbers by observing that in the constraints x1 will never be higher than 50 according to the most restrictive constraints, right? So if you don't have an actual limit for x1, put something based on other constraints, but if you do have a limit like 100 that is given, just use that limit in the problem. So this is a complete mathematical model for this fixed charge or fixed cost problem. right, that can find which products to produce to maximize the profit, right, while taking into account the setup costs, which also reduce the profit. In addition to the linking between x and y, notice that, right, this 50 serves as a maximum limit for xy, but we can also have a minimum limit for xi if the product is produced. So suppose we have an additional constraint. If product produce minimum 10 units. Okay, I can model this in my example by saying, in addition to this constraint, I can add additionally a minimum limit 10 times y1, 10 times y2, and 10 times y3 here for product 3. How does this work? I want you to see. So effectively, if y is equal to 1, if y1 is equal to 1, right, for this constraint, then this constraint becomes x1 at least 10, right, 10 times 1, and at most 50, right? So you see, if we produce, we have to produce minimum 10, maximum 50 units. But if y1 is equal to 0, then we have 0 times 10 on the left, less than or equal x1, less than or equal 50 times 0, which is also 0. So effectively, we have x1 equals 0. So I want you to see with this modeling, right, with minimum limit, when x1 is greater than or equal some minimum times binary variable and less than or equal some maximum times binary variable, we get this semi-continuous behavior. We get the variable xi, or x1 in this case. It can be either 0, right, which is here, this case, or it can be between some maximum limit and minimum limit, 10 to 50, right, inclusive of those two, right? So these are all the dots, right? So this is what's allowed for the variable. Either don't produce it or produce between 10 and 50. And I want you to see it would be incorrect if you just kept this constraint x1 greater than or equal to 10, because greater than or equal to 10 would mean actually that you have to produce at least 10 units. And in this case, y would have to be equal to 1. 0, this value would not be allowed, right? So you have to remember, if it's a conditional minimum, if produce at least 10 units, you need to say 10 times the binary variable less than or equal the number of units produced, right? So in general, we have a constraint which we can write, right, for some variable xi with a binary indicator yi, we can say less than or equal, or between, right, less than or equal some maximum limit for that variable I times binary indicator, right, and greater than or equal, right, xi greater than or equal some minimum number mi times yi, right? So in this case, the capital M and small m, they serve as, right, maximum and minimum production values for number of units xi, right? So we can set them in general to any limits, right? In the first exercise, first version of this exercise, mi, the small m, was equal to 0, so we didn't have to write it. But in the second version, I added minimum 10 units. And so now, if you produce, you have to produce at least 10 units. If you don't produce, you're still allowed to set the variable xi equal to 0.